Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at a common mower issue. Mowers are carbureted, they have jets in them. I'm not a mechanic, I'm just a guy with some hand tools, but I've got a quick fix for you that might fix a fuel delivery issue on your mower. So let's take a look at what we're going to need. But before we do that, I'm not responsible for you, I'm not responsible for your property. If you try this, it's at your own risk, but it works for me every time. So let's get started. Carb cleaner, seafoam, 2 pairs of pliers, 10mm wrench, 1/4 inch drive, and 2 10mm sockets. You don't need both of them, but I like to use them. And then the trick. If you can see this, it is a wire tie with the plastic stripped off. That's all it is, and that's what you need the 2 pliers for. So you take a wire tie, you strip some of the plastic off of it, and then you can use that as a tool later on. Usually every spring I have to do this, but this time it's in September. Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, I started the mower and it wasn't running well. And the last few cuttings, it hasn't exactly run well. It's been kind of sputtering. So I figured something was up. Well, let's get into it. Now mind you, I already did this. I already finished mowing the grass, so I know it works, but I hope this helps you out because it certainly helped me. A friend of mine told me about it a few years ago, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's kept this mower running. What we have is a Toro with the cooler engine on it. We're gonna start by popping off the air filter, and then we have to get into the carburetor. So we're gonna use our 10mm socket, and we're gonna loosen these bolts, or loosen these nuts rather. Set those aside. And this just slides off. Be careful. There's a gasket in here that you don't want to tear. And then you'll notice if you come in real close that there's a twist tie in there. Now this linkage in here, I don't know if you can see that, there it is. So this linkage is supposed to slide in here, and I noticed it was flopping around. This is the auto choke mechanism for this engine. So since that wasn't there, I just ran a twist tie in through it, looped it around, and that ought to hold it until I come up with a better idea. Now that we have the air filter box off, I sprayed some carb cleaner through there, and I also poured some seafoam into the tank. I'll leave links to all the products used in this video below in the description. So anyway, I sprayed it in there, added the seafoam, and then you have to take the float bowl off. Now for that, you're gonna need a heavy stone. I've got a paver here. Tilt the mower up, set the paver on the handle, job done. Now what that does is it prevents fuel from flowing down the tube. It prevents fuel from flowing down the tube into the carburetor and its float bowl. So then we need our 10mm wrench. We can take the float bowl off. And it's a good idea to have some paper towels handy, because fuel is going to flow out of this bad boy. If you've noticed, got my white socks that are green and my tennis shoes. Good times. The total dad get up here. So we're just going to remove that, get it loose, and then we can go in and remove the bolt. This holds the float bowl onto the carburetor. As I knocked something else off, here we go, a little spacer. Put that back on. So I've already cleaned this one out, so there's not a ton of gunk in it, see? Hopefully you can see that on camera there. I've already cleaned it out because I've done this before. And now let's take a closer look. So this right here is a tube of some sort, that's the float, and inside here there's a needle. So what you need to do is insert your wire tie up into here. Now we've got our wire tie, and I'll try to show you this. I've bent it sort of into an L, See it against the red there. And now that we have our wire tie bent to the right shape, it just slides right in that tube I showed you, and there's a hole right in the middle of it. And you'll see with very little resistance, it goes all the way up. And you just push it up till it stops, wiggle it around, and that clears out the jet inside the carburetor. This right here has saved my behind so many times because stuff gets in the fuel tank, and this mower has a poor design in that this gas cap doesn't seal well. So as you can see, it's wet on the side because fuel comes out. So crap gets in the tank, crap goes down the tube, this one right here, and it flows right into the carburetor and gunks up the works. And over time, fuel sits and it'll gunk up the works even worse. So that is done. So now we'll put the float bowl back on and fire it up. So we have our float bowl. Position it with the nut in the front. Your mower is probably going to be different, so keep that in mind. But this slides on, and we thread our screw in. Get it to go. And then I'm going to switch to a short socket, which just fits in here. Just to tighten it down. There's a rubber gasket, so you don't want to over tighten it. There it is. That's back on. Now we can put our filter housing here back on. Slides over those two like that. Get our filter nuts. Put those back on. Start one, and I'll go back to the long socket. And I like to use the socket handheld like this to prevent cross threading. There we go. But it gives me access in there. If you don't have a long socket, this piece pops right out. So once those are finger tight, and remember this is plastic, so again, don't tighten it down too far. But we'll go ahead, get it snug, get the other one snug. There we go. Flip this filter back on. Job done. Now I like to let the mower sit for a minute to allow the oil to drain back to the bottom of the crankcase before I fire it up, so we'll be right back. All right, now we've waited a minute. I've put my tools away. Let's see how she runs. And now you're ready to mow again. So I hope this tip helped you. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to be notified in the future when I upload videos, go ahead and hit the bell icon too. Thanks. Have a great day.